Hey guys, today I am here to discuss episode 6 of Neverafter from Dimension 20, and literally when I was thinking about this the other day, I was like, we can't be on episode 6 already. No, I must be wrong. But then I counted out and I was like, no, it is episode 6. So like, this is flying by. Like, guys, it's 2023. Only the first month and still practically the first week of 2023. But this show started in November. That seems forever ago. I was a whole different person back then. November 2022 and 2012 are the same to me in terms of how I think about how far away they are. So I am so excited that this battle went so much better than the last one they had. When I first turned it on and saw that the runtime was only like an hour and 39 minutes, I immediately felt so happy because I was like, an hour and 39 minutes is not enough time to kill them and have all their like moments where the clouds come in and stuff like that. So I was like, all right, guys, they're surviving, or at least most of them are surviving. And this battle did go way better from the start for a multitude of reasons. First of all, they got a drop on the enemies, which gave them a whole surprise round to initiate all sorts of fun stuff and get the ball rolling in their direction. Second of all, I think for the most part, again, it wasn't perfect, especially in terms of poor Emily. The dice were more on their side this episode, which really showed, I mean, there were actually nat 20s instead of like no nat 20s or just Brennan getting the nat 20s like in the last fairy godmother battle. I liked the battle, but also like did not like the spider aspect of it, and I did not like how much Rick Perry and the set team went into the spider aspect of it. Like it was a lot. And then when that spider fell down from the ceiling and it had like a bunch of eggs on it, I was like, I gotta go. Like, that's too much. I know this is the horror season, but honestly did not sign up for this. I also loved the idea that like Miss Muffet and the spider had become entangled in each other, and like that was something that like maybe in these worlds, since there's so many of them and now that people are like hopping between them and stuff like that, that like stories might get twisted or like there might be some kind of like glitch. It honestly reminded me, even though like this character was good, it reminded me of like the bad version of the Junk Mother, of just like that like creepiness and like wrongness of like, this isn't supposed to exist. Like this is a, and again, I love the Junk Mother. I'm not insulting her at all, but like that's what she was, right? Like she's not supposed to exist. It's because there are like things happening outside of like the realm of like what should actually be happening, and then you get this kind of like literal monster looking thing, whether it's monstrous or not. And I think there was more to discuss about like how much of the monster was controlling Miss Muffet and stuff like that, because it seemed like she did want to concede at certain points, but then like the spider would kind of just take her back into itself. So that was just horrifying, because it's like, spiders are one thing, right? Spiders are horrifying. Spiders with a human face, way worse. Like way worse, I'm gonna be honest with you. So that was like so cool though, just to see, again, because that's what Brennan did with the fairy godmother, just how he like combines and changes these ideas of what we know. And I love Miss Muffet, okay? Like, I'm hoping she stays with the gang for a little bit. I know she's only like 10 years old probably, but again, Ilsa and Pinocchio are also children, a fact that I feel like is not brought up enough, and like they're out here fighting everything. So like, I definitely feel like she could stay and be fun, and I just love the idea of having someone for the first time, and they talked about this in Adventuring Party, that chose not to go in the book. And I loved her reasoning for it. Her reasoning was like, yeah, I don't have like a spider face, which okay, as horrifying as I think like spider with human face is, human with spider face, little girl, I was like, that is the cutest thing ever, and I want her and Yilfu to be best friends. I just think it was cool, and especially like she's a little kid and she gets this, and I feel like the idea of like her looking at the book and like wanting, like almost like seeing the idea of like, oh, like I can be like normal and like not spider, but in every story of this, or like in every version, if I go in here, I'm always going to be afraid like forever. And I feel like that kind of went back to the idea of why Cinderella didn't like her story, of she's like woke up of being like, wait, if like the fairy godmother can do all this and my story changes and all that, like why is Cinderella's mom always dead in every single story? Like why is that something that has to happen? And I feel like that's kind of what Muffet was insinuating, of like, why does that have to be that I'm always afraid? And like, I don't want to be afraid. I'm afraid right now in this world. That world, I'm still going to be afraid, and I won't even have a chance to change it. So I was just so like proud of her for not going in the book, and I think it really shows an interesting idea now of the book. They were talking at an adventuring party too, I think it was an adventuring party, about like the choice, and like, you know, how like Muffet made the choice, but like Jack was like dead. So like, you know, he didn't really get to make a choice. So, like, obviously, like, being Bones or being like an actual person alive again, you're gonna pick going in the book, but other people might have more of a choice like Muffet did and realize like their story isn't one they want to live out over and over again. They want to have the capacity to change. I also, and I haven't talked much about this, but like every single episode and every single time I hear Emily talk about it more and more, I'm so drawn to the idea of Ylfa and now Miss Muffet as metaphors for puberty, their transformations of, and Emily talked about it a little bit, of like when you're a kid and people tell you, especially young girls, like you can be anything you want to be. You can be a ballerina, you can be a princess, like whatever. And then you hit like a certain age, like 12 or 13. And Emily, the example she used was people are like, well, no, you should probably study well, you know, like you can't just do anything you set your mind to. Like you've got to have the smarts and the like work ethic behind it, and like how that changes. And I also think puberty is horrifying, right? Like really, like if you wanted to make a horror season, making a character who is going through puberty is horrific. Like your body is changing completely different. It's doing things you don't recognize. It's turning into something you don't recognize. And again, it's going from this kind of innocence of childhood and like, oh, you know, you can do whatever you want. But then that becomes the age where it's like all of a sudden now maybe you can't play with the boys or something like that. Or like your parents want you working inside more, staying inside or something like that, you know? And it becomes kind of this different thing of like, I don't recognize who I am. This doesn't feel like me, kind of how Ylfa's transformation to a wolf does. And I think the really beautiful journey of Ylfa and also her reaching out to Miss Muffet shows of like, I don't know what the point of this is. Like how Ylfa was like, I don't know if there's a silver lining to this, but there's gotta be a point. There's gotta be a point to being a monster that like makes it worth being it, you know, like there's got to be a reason for this. And I think that was just so great, and to see them reach out and connect on that level I think was really great, because again, they're going through things both out of their own control, like puberty, that happened to them, like Ylfa's turning into the wolf, and then Miss Muffet becoming part of the spider and still being part of the spider even if she is back to her full capacity. Those things are not anything that they can do anything about. They've just got to figure out a way to be okay with it and figure out who they are now and how they can be their best selves and most comfortable selves with what they are now. And I just think that's such a great that's such a great metaphor, especially for like teenage girls, where it's like you like are so dressed up, really, and I'm talking like the stereotypical idea, right, of like, you know, you wear the little dresses but you can still play with the boys and run outside and everything like that. And then it's like you hit a certain age and it's like all of a sudden now you need bras, your body feels different, you get your periods, like stuff like that. And it's just like how horrifying that all is, of like, wait, this wasn't my life up until this and now I have to adjust to that. And you know, the boys might not want to play with you anymore. You might not be allowed to play with the boys if like your parents or the school is really strict or something like that. So it was just, yeah, really, really interesting. I just loved getting to see them all too at level 3. First of all, I love that Mother Goose spent the majority of this battle stuck to a web, but like was still safer than in the fairy godmother battle. Like I just love that Allie was like, you know what, I'm not very strong. Even if Mother Goose is ripped, and that is canonically true, Mother Goose is not very strong. So Allie was like, my best bet, just shoot some spells from down here. And it worked fabulously. Gerard did help by protecting him and kind of being like a blocker of like, you know, come for me, the spiders, instead of Mother Goose. But I just love that it worked out so well for him. Like it was just such a clutch move to be like, yeah, I did amazing and I didn't even have to get up from prone. So thank you very much. I also love Gerard in this one. Again, quickly becoming a fave character of mine, I have to say, but I just love how he was like, I have to do a brave act of cowardness or something like that, or a cowardly act of brave. I don't remember how exactly he phrased it, but like first he was like, you got the big one to Ylfa? She's like, yeah. And he's like, I'll take the small one. And then he really was doing things that he called like cowardice because he was like leaving people or something like that, but like it was brave. It was brave to like run and go protect Pinocchio or run and protect Mother Goose, like taking these attacks for himself and stuff like that. And I just think the whole journey that Gerard is going to go on, like how he's already started, but I feel like the whole journey he's going to go on is going to be so amazing to watch, and I'm very, very excited. And Murph is just playing him so funny. I love that Murph incorporated the fact that he thought it was Goldilocks and not Miss Muffet into the fact, and like the entire time Gerard is like, where are the bears, like calling her Goldilocks and stuff. It was just, it was like so good. Like I just feel like they're working together so well. as a party now, where they've all kind of had this bonding experience of like they know something about the world that not a lot of other people know, and I'm just excited to see where it goes from here. I feel like if I had one complaint about the season, I'm not loving the promos for the next episodes, because I feel like especially at this episode, like the end promo, like I feel like it didn't tell you anything about what to expect, and like that's fine, like it's if you don't want to spoil things, but like it was just with like those quick cuts of like them just saying funny things. Like, first of all, don't ruin all the funny jokes for me, and second of all, like tell me, like I'd rather have a shorter thing that shows like what they're actually going to be doing. Like, are they going to be fighting these bears that are still coming for them? Because we saw the thunder happen with the bears. Are they going to be, like, helping the people that Miss Muffet spun into webs and potentially ate? Like, are they going to be helping the village? Like, what's their next step? I know that, like, they've got the spider back into the book, so they were able to help the other world. And then at the end of Adventure Party, I think Brennan mentioned potentially something about Aesop's fables, so maybe we'll be dealing with that, because that's been like a hint that we've just gotten about there's other worlds. And then obviously there's other worlds that we haven't even met yet, like Brothers Grimm, Hans Christian Andersen, because we know Ariel's in the world. So I feel like there's a bunch of different ways that it could go, and it's kind of cool not to know, but also to like think of the idea of like the party themselves have like different choices and different ways that they can go down. Like, they still have to find Ariel. Obviously, Gerard is still very much trying to find Princess Ellie and like her version of this, but she seems to be one of the princesses that has awakened and has hopped dimensions. So I don't know where she is or if she's in this world or anything like that. And then I would also love to see them reconnect with Cinderella, my girl, and see her. And yeah, I'm just excited to see where it goes. I feel like this fight made me hopeful, because again, like the dice were not always on their side, but they have amazing powers now. They have some clutch spells that I think are really going to be helpful. Emily being a druid is a very good idea, because now we've got someone else who can heal. Like, a tank druid is a very good idea. I really like it. So yeah, I just enjoyed this episode so much, even though it was spider-filled. Like, we're just not going to talk about that part, even if it was a big part of that. I think if I just like focused on the Miss Muffet aspect, I was like, it's fine, it's fine. If I looked at the spider for more than 5 seconds, I threw up, but I didn't. So there you go. But yeah, I am so interested to hear all your theories, your thoughts, and your reactions to the episode and the battle, the new spells, the new moves they have. I love Gerard's move of saving face, where it's like literally you mess up and then it's like the amount of people that were around to see that, you get to add to that to make it better. I think that's so hysterical and like fits his character perfectly. So I'm just so excited to see what's going to happen, and if Miss Muffet is going to stick around and be part of the gang, because she is, you know, a child, so I would feel bad just leaving her anywhere. But like, it's not safe with the group, but it's also like the world isn't safe, so really, where is she better off? I don't know. With us, I think, because I want Ilfa to have a best friend. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!